All right, another impromptu one. Wait, let me correct this. This is wrong. Let's correct this. Let's correct this. There we go. Now we can push it to the limit. You know the song? Nobody's here. I'm talking to myself. It's wonderful. Okay. We are corrected this. Beautiful. Now I feel seen. Now there's a light. What's up, Tony? Whoa, so good. How are everybody doing? Wonderful, wonderful Friday. My hair is doing Friday things. Lawana Price, H. Hopkins, J. Paul is in the house. How are you, brother? Let's see what we do. Let's put our website over here. Boom, boom. Whoa. This is wild. Why is it appearing like this? Okay, this is insanity. We don't want that. How everybody doing? Practicing scales, beautiful. How are you, brother? These little flyaways. Brendan Maze. Lyrical. Let me also open. Let me let people know. Live now. Let me maybe share. How can I share the live itself? I don't even know. I think maybe just by sending, let's see. If I just send the URL, is that enough? No, it's not enough. Oh well. No, this is the wrong. That's really funny. Welcome, everybody. Good Friday. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Good evening. How come now everyone can see the code? Not everyone can see the code. I think everybody can see the code. Just some people take some a little time. I don't know. It's a good question. It's for us to find out. Something we're definitely working on. Give me 1 second. Eating is food. That's wonderful. Okay, now we should be good. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Slowly, people coming in. I did not know what I'm going to come on today. Days are getting a little tight, so planning the time becomes a little bit more challenging. But it's not an excuse, and obviously, you're going to have to. I like the handle blue oranges. We have to figure it out. How are you, Anna? Jesus. Jesus. Okay, let's see if we can address some questions today. Oh, one thing I did want to do here is start a stage on Discord. Thank you so much, Blue Orange. Wait, what? What? Today's like, what? If anybody wants to come on Discord and join the stage, you're more than welcome to do so. What can we talk about on this beautiful Friday? Maybe we dive a little bit into objective truth. I know it's a contentious subject on this channel sometimes, but I think it's an important one. Some people seem to not believe in it. I don't know what happened during the last century, but it's time for us to restore order, and hopefully we can do so. By the way, if you guys want to follow on Twitch, it'll be LaserX83 on Twitch. If you want to come and join and give us a thumbs up and some love. Let's see. Yeah, last time we had a pretty low show up. By the way, I will be doing another Q&A conversation and Q&A with Andrew Gallimore in the upcoming weeks, so look out for that. It's probably going to be on X, and we will post it later as well. Oh, maybe I'll do it under the banner of my lives. We'll see. We'll see what I think is best, how it's best to arrange everything. What's up, V? Maybe I'll do it part of the live. We'll see which one we think would promise more viewership. We'll find out. We might have some fun guests if we're doing it next. We'll find out. Okay, I'll wait just a little bit more for people to show up so we can start with something that people care about. So I want to make sure that these are reserved for what people want to ask. Well, sometimes we just go on rants. That's also true. Thank you, Blue Oranges. I appreciate you. Pirate just joined us. Bumbles. Howdy, howdy. All right, so I think our visibility is very limited on YouTube. I'm not sure. Also, yeah, it's mostly because I probably didn't tell anyone that I'm coming on. But I didn't know what time I could. What can I do, man? What can I do? Thank you, V. I appreciate you. Okay, I'm not sure if it's just a limited. Is there some limitation on texts? Because I only see one thing. Usually, we're not that limited in text. J. Paul put one text in, and then I see on YouTube there's no more texts. That is very rare. And it says that there's people in the chat. When somebody's in the chat, you guys want to throw in a text, or let me know if there's any issues with seeing it, because I think we're streaming. Let's see. Yeah, I think we're streaming. I can't really see it in real time though. Weird. That's oh, okay, here it is. Yeah, we only see okay, awesome. So I guess it's just lack of engagement. That's different. Thank you, all blessings. Coffee stains mug. Amazing. Mad Max 626 is saying, is it possible that every explanation for how reality works is just a metaphor? It is. Well, depending what you mean by a metaphor. I get the gist of what you're saying. So in general, yes, it is it's an overarching story of what we think it is. Now, the difference between a metaphor and a description is that a metaphor doesn't run all the way through and a description does. So some metaphors at a certain point basically become reality. Um, so you can say that all theories or every explanation of what the world is ultimately a framework or a story, but it does not render it as just a pretend. So it still maps onto something that's going on. There's some stories would map closer to what's going on, and some stories would map less to what's going on. Ultimately, it's this very elusive property I call meaning, and I mean we call meaning, but I'm referring to it specifically. It's kind of like the linkage between what the thing is and what the description of the thing is. It's like there's the series of symbols that is representing the thing close enough to what the real thing is doing. So, for example, I would say that the quote unquote metaphor of computational universe is a lot closer to what it really is than the metaphor of it being like a mechanical clock, right? They both run, they both express some truths about what the universe is, but one of them is a lot closer to the actual thing. Is it actually what we call computation? I guess you can say that. It's just that what it really is much deeper than that, of course, still, and it will probably forever be the case. But yeah, ultimately, it's all a representation of symbols. But it is a very deep question because ultimately, this is one of these things where people start believing that just because they are all descriptions, somehow all descriptions are the same. They're not the same. Some of them are a lot more detailed and actually track what's going on, so you can make predictions. You can you can have a much closer impression of what the real thing is doing. It's a great question, and I think it's an important one to actually linger. We might be talking about this with Gallimore as well, because I think descriptions here are very important, and this is where people lose themselves, I think. Yeah, but that is a great question. I appreciate it. Am I a proponent of the simulation theory? I'm actually expressing something much more radical. I'm saying that I found proof, or at least one potential observation that shows us directly that there's A, more than this, and B, that we are in fact living in a computational world. If you watch some of my videos, you'll find out, but in general, a few years ago, I've discovered that if you project a diffracted laser on the surface and you ingest a spirit molecule, you will see code running in the surface. And all conversations that I'm having on this channel revolving around this topic at this point. Hold on, I'm going to turn on. Hey, Elusive Truth. No, I'm streaming whenever I have time. I wish it would actually be during the day all the time. Has anything in the 5-MeO world given any recent insight to the code? So you're familiar. You already know that we said that it looks a lot more coherent on 5, right? You mean after that, like anybody else reported? This experience consisted across numerous subjects. Yes, we have thousands of individuals reporting. I would claim the same thing. Some people would say at least close enough. Yeah. And also the way it appears seems to be very salient. It's not like one of these transient things. There's a property there of non-transitive property that is just kind of like just maintains itself throughout the metabolism of the substance in your system. What's up, Kami Ben? Let me actually add this to my calendar so I don't forget. Send Zoom invite. I got your email. And I will send all the Zoom invite after we're done here, actually, to everybody. Good to see you. But yeah, this is a very, very good question. And I think this is one of these things that I do think that this is where people lose the plot a little bit, where they believe that somehow all descriptions hold the same. And of course, that's not true. But the thing that is really elusive about it is that when you think about what that means, right? Like, well, what is that? Like, what is understanding and description of the world? What does that mean? Well, it relies on a perceiver. It relies on an observer. An explanation only means something to an observer. If you're thinking about some kind of an inert universe that is just kind of bumping into itself infinitely, it does not require an explanation. It just kind of happens. Find it very interesting in those resistant to 5 can see the code. Resistant to NN. I've never met anyone resistant to 5 yet. Figure there's some difference between, it's like asking someone to describe a color. Yes, but it's close enough. I would say it's more like asking someone to describe a couch. Do we really see the same couch? I don't know, but close enough. You know what I mean? Like there's a thing there. There's something there we can both sit on, right? And this is the deeper discussion, the difference between subjective and objective, which in fact is really not as big as people think, because all objective is a consensus of all many subjective accounts. There is no experience that is objective. Doesn't exist. People saying subjective experience. There is no objective experience. Doesn't exist. The postulation that there's an external world out there that is objective, that's a postulation by a subject. It rests on the subjective experience. When enough subjective experiences agree on something, that consensus among the ones that agree, that is what is called objective reality. But it isn't objective. It is still based on many, many data points collected from subjective points of view. What's up, Nico? How are you, brother? Started watching SG. Funny enough, when you sent me that Paul Bloom conversation with Sam Harris, I literally just saw the thumbnail, and then you sent it to me. It's kind of crazy. Thank you, Guru. How are you, brother? I guess my algorithm knows I watch many of your videos. I keep seeing big names talking about your hypothesis. Awesome. What big name did you see recently talking about my experiment? Yeah. I would also, it would suck if I would find out that I'm resistant to 5-MeO. Subjective, objective reality. How are you, Nico?
I'm doing well. Just doing some Friday afternoon cleaning.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Did you finish that Paul Bloom conversation?
Yeah, I started listening to it earlier. I took a little pause from it, but yeah, it was really, really good.
Is he pro or against? I don't even know because I just started 5 minutes.
Pro. I think he's pro. I think Sam and him are cautiously like optimistic. Like I think they acknowledge the fact that if you would have told them, hey, there's going to be an AI agent that can have this level of intelligence, they all thought, well, that's 10, 20 years out. Mm-hmm. But now that it's here, it's not really changing everything overnight. There still is there's a recalibration that they were talking about of expectations. And they were kind of talking a little bit about how the Turing test, like we thought the Turing test was this like pivotal moment, and really it's not, right? It's this it ended up kind of being a flop in some ways.
Yeah, because the real Turing test is convincing us, not whether it is actually. And that, that really makes the difference, all the difference, I would say.
Yeah, it turns out convincing us is pretty easy, but there's a lot more to intelligence than just convincing a person that you're real.
What if all these instances of all the people that we were talking about recently is actually OpenAI running a test, like the actual Turing test, and they're like, "Here it is, just passed. You guys all think it's conscious."
Yeah, that's it. That is interesting. Um, Sam said so. Sam created an AI agent. He said that is trained off all of his podcasts, which ends up being 12 million tokens.
Whoa!
And he said it's like too perfect. Like
Yeah.
like if you ask it like give me 17 reasons the Great Depression happened, like it says it gives you exactly 17 reasons in a very coherent way. And Sam says like typically he will stumble across that, he'll synthesize some like answer to it, but it won't be perfect and it won't be 17 exact reasons. And so he was saying that like it's almost too perfect, like it's engineered to pass the test too perfectly. And then in these other dimensions, it's like it's not tuned for that, right? So it's
what is the other dimensions? What do you mean by that?
Well, like like if you have a test like the Turing test, which is like very specifically designed for one criteria, you can pass the test, right? But the thing is, like everywhere else, like it's not going to live up to that same metric. So, for instance, like in programming, it's not like, in my opinion, although it is very impressive, like I've come to the realization like this thing kind of sucks at programming, right? Because when it hallucinates, it throws the whole thing. Like I can't tell you how many times an LLM has skull fucked my entire code base. Like I'm like traumatized from it now.
Wait, don't they have like kind of like their own version of Cursor now? That's like just for coding or something.
Yeah, they do, and it's good. The thing is, like, I don't know if you guys, maybe some people in the chat have experienced this, but like sometimes it'll hallucinate, and then it'll be like, oh, okay, like you're like, get me out of this hole that you dug me, and then it's like, okay, yeah, let me get out of this, and then it hallucinates again, and you're like deeper into it, and then but it's like deleting code and functions, and it's like you get to this point of like 3 levels of hallucination that you're just crying because you lost everything, right? But there's no getting out of that. And I've been in that situation a couple times where I'm just like, okay, I don't trust this anymore. But I think what a good example of it was, it kind of slipped my mind, but it was like, okay, so like Chat GPT, I don't know if you saw this, but they claimed that they won the Math Olympiad, the gold medal in the Math Olympiad.
Okay.
Right, and it's like, they actually didn't win it, but the thing is, like, if you train it for this test, it can do really well at this math test, right? But like, does it actually have that chain of thought everywhere else to all these other kinds of problems, right?
Okay.
And I think the answer is no. Like, we know that it has chain of thought problems, like it's not perfect. But also, one of the things that I have an issue with all these LLMs is that they are overtuned for agreeability. And you could tune it to say, like, hey, push back on me. I don't want to get glazed every time I use you. But it doesn't do that. It's not like I want like a brutally honest, like I want a Danny Goller assistant that will tell me like you're an idiot, right? I want that, but I don't. Like AI agents won't give me that pushback.
That's weird because mine does. I mean, not like as aggressively as I do sometimes, but like it definitely will tell me that like something is kind of nonsense or things like this.
Oh, nice. Maybe you prompted it strongly enough to where it always pushes back then.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I just think that ultimately it would kind of wear the general suit of your psychology pretty naturally. Like it just kind of it is kind of like cut and dry with mine. And I like that a lot. And obviously it's kind of like how I tend to approach things. It's I think it's always kind of leaning towards the before I know it's right, it's absolutely wrong. That's kind of like the attitude that it has. and then it's easy to just not get sucked into anything. Also, Duke is saying, what I said is the biggest argument against your findings. What did you say? I didn't see what you said. There was no other comments before, Duke, so you're going to have to, I guess, repeat. Or maybe deleted a comment by you? Not sure. I'm going to look through more of the comments, Duke. I don't know if you're still around, but what did you say? I didn't quite. What was the comment? I'm scrolling back and I don't really see any comments from you. Or are you trolling? Going through. Well, you can always repeat it. I can't see it, so you can always repeat it if you're still here.
You know, after yesterday's talk, I had this like shower thought where, you know, you've always pushed against interpreting the code, and I'm wondering if the code is not the actual thing. Like the code is the attention grabber. It's like the hook.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
But there's like a real primer that is staring everyone in the face that you're supposed to kind of like look back and be like, oh, that's the primer. This is a real direction to go, right?
But I think that even without it being kind of like, I don't think the code is nothing, but I think the obvious thing is, what is it? First, what is this? Right? That should be the guiding question. Not like, can you decode it? Because when you're saying, did you decode it? You're already assuming it's language. You already made an assumption there. We don't know what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Stephen Wolfram had a stream a couple hours ago, and he was like, he said something, and we all know this, but the way he said it was so convincing, where someone was asking him questions, and he's like, my problem is that I haven't thought of the right question yet, but when I do find that right question, I will figure all of this out. Like all of this whole Wolfram Physics project will come together.
That's beautiful.
And I thought that was extremely, like the way he said it with so much conviction and awareness that he just can't think of the right question.
That is,
like, damn, this is...
That is the punchline in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah.
That if you don't have the right question, you have no idea what answers even mean. Like, you don't know what you're asking.
Yeah. So for the code, it's like, okay, there's like there's like the obvious big questions, right? Like, what is it?
What is it is the question, yes.
What is it is like one of the questions, but like, is it the question?
It is the question, yes. Currently is the question, yes. Yeah, I think there's nothing beyond that. Because if you, nothing beyond that. There's nothing you can do until you answer that question. Or at least you have some ideas in some direction how to perturb it. And by perturbing it in some ways, it might give you a direction of what it is.
Because for me, one of the things that I switched to is like, okay, why are you showing me this, right? Like for me, that's the question of like the meta. Like, okay, I understand. Like, we don't have the bandwidth or technology to process this right now, but like, why are you showing me this?
Right? You're right. That is another question. You're right. Yeah. But I think the central question...
I feel like that is a more accessible question to answer with our current tools today.
How come?
Because I feel like it removes the problem from being this technical, like, what does all this language or symbols mean, to, okay, where should we go from here? Right?
But who are you talking to when you're saying, why are you showing me this?
I guess I was talking to the interdimensional child.
Right. So there's already assumptions here, right? That you already know that the multidimensional beings put it there. So it's already lumped with a lot of assumptions that I'm not, like, I know it because I'm experiencing it, but I'm constantly trying to look at it from the perspective of someone who isn't. Because for example, if you want to communicate to the rest of the world, you have to kind of take the frame that most people would have that haven't encountered these beings. So why do they need to accept your word that beings told you that this is there, right? You might be confused. Like, talking to me, I might be confused, or I might be misled, or I have the wrong idea about it. It needs to be a very kind of like democratic ground to traverse together. And this is how I'm thinking about it. So the second that you say, why are you showing this to us? You already taking this less neutral frame, because you're already accepting that there's beings, and now I can say, yes, I know that there's beings. And when I asked them, they said, figure it out. That's for you to figure out. But that's not a satisfying answer in a scientific conference room. That needs to be more like, and I think the only question we can ask together is, what is it? Because the answer to that can be anything, and therefore it lends itself to being like engage more kind of community. So the answer somebody might think the answer is, well, it's just the speckle effect. That's the answer to what is it, right? You see what I'm saying?
Well, the parameter that led you to it was the number 42, right?
No.
No?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, 42 is just like 42 is like a small indicator that in certain points in time I was on the right track. That's how I read it. It was not involved at all at the ideation or the specifics of how we got to the laser.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not. I think that there's little points in which they steer your attention or guide your attention, but it's not the main parameter. Like it's never the right parameter. Hold on, I'm actually gonna make myself a coffee real quick. Today's a heavy coffee drinking day. Ooh, Jimmy, thank you so much for the gift. I appreciate you. Did I get an invitation to Rogan? November. What is there something you know that I don't know? I think the difference between subjective and objective is more that something objective isn't deniable. There's nothing that isn't deniable. It's just that there's a consensus of experience. It's actually epistemologically, it's like a quicksand. Like if you look at the details of everything, it's just that there's enough rigidity for function that you accept in order to operate. That's all it is. But there's nothing that is undeniable. Like from a quantum physics perspective, there's no promise you're going to keep sitting on the chair. Technically, there's a chance you might fall through the chair, but it's so low, the probability of that you just assume that there's no reason to worry about it. But it's absolutely deniable in that sense that you can say, well, there's a chance that it might not happen, but it's so low that it's not worth worrying about. And also, some people will be surprised. You'll be surprised. Some people will buy the bullet and be like, well, what do you mean by chair? Now, I'm with you that all of these questions are just kind of like mental masturbation. Like, it doesn't really matter. It's just like, well, it's this thing we call chair that we sit on. That's all that matters right now, right? That's what I mean by when I say horizon of relevance. That's what I mean by that. When it's within horizon of relevance, you can say certain things are objective, but ultimately none of them are. None of them. They're all subjective perceptions. I've only had it code one thing for me. It's random insult generator. Oh, that's from comments before about ChatGPT. You still there, brother?
Yes.
Awesome. Just making sure. Forgot where we were, but never mind. We'll just. What's up, base trading? I think that there's a really good chapter in that book that I keep talking about, The Beginning of Infinity. It's called The Dream of Socrates. In it, basically, he kind of makes he writes an imaginary story about Socrates having a dream about, I think, Hades, the god of knowledge. Is he the god of knowledge? I think he is. And he teaches him about epistemology, and he kind of goes with him step by step about this like perception that we have. The things are just like they're obvious, right? So he's trying to guess who he is because he came to him in a dream looking like someone else, like a person, obviously. And then he's like, well, hold on, like, because he's supposed to be kind of like the wisest man, who keeps trying to guess. He's like, I'm like, I'm seeing you in my dream, but is this a dream? And he's like, and then he keeps saying, well, I see you with my eyes. Like, do you see me with your eyes? It's like, oh, you're right. You're in my dream. And then he goes, okay, but I see you still. It's like, okay. It's like, but can you see me clearly? And then they keep doing this thing, and ultimately they kind of arrive at this understanding that what knowledge is an applicable piece of information that you can do something with and apply it to something, right, in some form. And it makes no difference whatsoever where it came from. If you have a dream in which you saw how to make some kind of a device, if the device works, that's all that matters. It makes no difference whatsoever that it came to you in a dream. Information is information. If that information is applicable to what the world is doing, then you can say that it is objectively functional. But ultimately, it would still come to you through your subjective experience. It's your perception of it, the way you perceive it. But it has an application in what we call the external world. And now, if the external world comes under question, now you're in a conundrum, because you and even people that would very much align with this message, when you ask them, okay, well, what is the physical? What is this thing that we call physical? They say, I don't know. So they basically avoid. They avoid they evade the question. The stuff I see on medium doses of D looks like it's made of ball pixels. What is ball pixels? You mean like kind of like?
Maybe he means the buckyball.
Is that what you mean? That would be interesting. So yeah, I think I'm trying to think of the best format to do the conversation with Gallimore. I'm thinking maybe we can just do it on X and record it at the same time. You just put colorful balls, nice. And at the same time also record it so we can release it separately as kind of like a conversation with Q&A as well at the end. Or maybe I can just do it part of my live. I'm not sure which one is better. Because the live also streams on X, but the X would be a separate thing. Or maybe I can just stream on YouTube and participate in the X event and record it on Riverside all at the same time. Maybe we can just do that. Just everywhere.
Am I invited to that?
Fine. Fine, you can come. What kind of questions? I have to pre-approve your questions.
I'm gonna think of some questions for him.
It's what did I want to say? I wanted to say something to you. Forget what it was. Oh, you still I would, because you keep nudging me in that direction, so I'm expecting you to send me some video to respond to at some point, and I'll respond to it. I'll post
I
it.
was gonna send you one, but I'm like, this is too far. You know,
Too far?
Yeah, because there's a lot of shenanigans going on right now, dude. It's opening my eyes to how crazy the spectrum actually is. I'll send it to you, but just know that I mean well. I'm just a messenger. Don't shoot the messenger.
I mean, why can it possibly be that you think that I'm going to think something about what you're sending me to react? You're sending it to me to react to, so obviously I'll react to it.
Yeah, gotcha. The thing that I really liked about Wolfram today is he said, like, the reason why I do these Q&As is because, like he said, there's an infinite number of questions, and the questions that I hear are the same questions roughly that I've heard, but a lot of them are asked differently, and it prompts me to process them differently. And so he said, like, I actually get a lot of value from answering these very simple questions. And he's like, I found out that some children are in this chat, right? But what I thought was really cool was I was like, oh dang, he totally is mining questions through these interactions. And I kind of always thought, like, oh wow, I'm really lucky that Wolfram is sitting down for an hour, but he's just mining questions. But for him, there is value to it, which I thought was kind of mind-blowing. But what it made me realize is that questions are the true currency of an open mind, right? Like, and he's not up there to preach, he's up there to answer questions, but he does always say, like, I think, or I don't know, or no, nobody knows the answer to that question. And he always he goes on these large history tangents because he's such a history nerd. But I am kind of inspired by that. I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta be more open. I gotta switch my channels to like the question mode, as opposed to like the answer mode.
You don't think you're open to that?
I think I'm a little bit more assuming that I kind of understand how things work roughly, and I think I need to be a little bit more open to, like, the water example. Like yesterday, I was like, yeah, there's no way possible. But like, from everything I know to the core, there's no way water.
Yeah, but this can be right. But like the fact that it's so easy to test, right? And notice that nobody did it. So I was right. It's so easy to do. Like, nobody does it. It's crazy. Here's what's going on. People, because I used to think people verify things, or at least some people verify things. I now know no one verifies things. No one. No one. People read the title, they watch like a 3-second thing of a video, and they run with that. Nobody verifies anything. So now we're like layers upon layers upon layers of nonsense. Science was never more important than now.
Yeah, I agree with that.
This is exactly the kind of thing. It's almost like the world is suffering from the Dunning-Kruger effect. Because because here's what happens. People kind of go into, first of all, people always over-exaggerate how smart they think they are. So they go into what they feel is sophistication. What they don't realize is for other people, this is like a toddler's talk. Like some people, like, like people just the ones that kind of use buzzwords from physics and then just like, E8, manifolds. Like they just kind of throw these concepts and they just kind of mesh them together. Turns out, and they don't realize this is literally like a toddler talking to some people, right? Like it's just like you literally they go in goo goo gaga gaga, like they have no idea what they're saying, right? I'm not even exaggerating. It's literally like that, and almost the whole world suffers from this problem right now. They comment on political issues and like without stepping a foot in that country or like understanding anything about the intricacies of the geopolitics and what actually is going on. They're like, well, I read some accounts. It makes sense to me. How complicated can it be? Turns out pretty complex. So I think that's the problem. Like,
yeah. When my friends were talking about like Iranians' intentions with the bomb, the Iranian government, I'm like, how do you say that with any confidence? Like, do you know that for sure? Like, you just know their intentions? Like, but yeah, I agree. Paul Bloom said it in his podcast with Sam that released today, where he said that he was having ChatGPT review his Substack articles, and ChatGPT was kind of glazing him, telling him like, "This is amazing, this is perfect." And so Paul Bloom thought he was getting better at writing. He was saying, and what he really realized is that he was talking to an echo chamber and was potentially getting worse at writing because of that.
Again, I think we just need to solve that problem of the glazing. Like I guess did you try to play with Grok like in a serious way?
Yeah, Grok has an asshole mode. I highly recommend.
You're the worst writer I've ever seen. Oh, okay. I guess I got a bad
She'll be like, what are you, a fucking conspiracy theorist? Like, that is my favorite transition, right?
That's really funny. I think I'm the most persistent skeptic. Nice.
There's a joke I heard, which apparently is an old joke, but it's like a conspiracy theorist dies and goes to heaven, and God says, "Welcome. I will answer one fundamental question from your experience on Earth." And the conspiracy theorist sits there and thinks, and then says, "Okay, who killed JFK?" And then God says, "It was Lee Harvey Oswald. He was a lone gunman." And the conspiracy theorist says, "Dang, this goes higher than I thought."
This is great. This is a good joke. That's a very good joke. That is amazing. Did you ever hear the? I think we talked about it, but like the one where Ricky Gervais tells Seinfeld the Holocaust joke.
No, I haven't heard that one.
So basically, it's comedians. Is it comedians in cars drinking coffee, something like that, right? Seinfeld show. And and it takes Ricky Gervais, and then I think in the second one, and Ricky tells him a joke, and he goes, so a Jew dies, goes to heaven, sees God, and is like, and then he meets God, and he tells God a Holocaust joke, and then God goes, "That's not funny," and he says, "Well, I guess you had to be there."
Nice.
V, what is this referring to? I'm thinking about the most persistent skeptic. What happens when the code speaks back to the observer? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Has anyone heard of Spangle? Sure, Spangle is awesome. Yeah, Spangle is awesome. Let's see. I think I've heard this joke somewhere before, the one that you said, but I've only now kind of started to remember. But that's a really good one. That's
it's an old joke, but it got me thinking of that kind of is the issue, right? Is like sometimes there is no authority, there is no convincing, there is no like.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get too lost in something where there's no coming back.
No, that's what I was saying. That for a lot of the conspiracy theorists, it's not about the information. They maybe even think it's about the information, but it absolutely isn't.
It's deeper, yeah.
No, it's a completely different thing. They derive meaning out of the signaling that they're not buying it. That instance of telling you they're not buying it, they get off on that. So that's the thing. They just want to keep pressing that button. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. Like it's you can't hurt me because I already know I'm 20 steps ahead. Oh, you're behind, bro. That's why they have that kind of a like the one-upsmanship is around who sees more layers, because the more layers I see, the more you can't hurt me. It's a fear-based state. It has nothing to do with acquiring information. It has everything to do with feeling secure because there's a hurt child in there. They got hurt by something, and now they're like, "You can't hurt me. I'm so above anything you can even comprehend in terms of what I know that good luck catching up to me." And that joke that you just told illustrates that perfectly.
I accidentally convinced my friend, and I made up a conspiracy to prove to her that you can just make these up, and she ended up running with it. But like what she told me, her axiom for whether there's a conspiracy or not is if the government is enforcing it on the masses, then there's always a conspiracy, right? And so one time,
if the government is enforcing it on the masses, define enforcing.
Some policy, right? So,
that's her stance. Okay.
For example, she was at the DMV, and she calls me, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, what are you doing there?" And she says, "I'm getting my real ID. It's like mandatory now to travel." And I said, "Oh, you're just gonna sign up for the microchip the government is trying to give you?" And she's like, "What do you mean? There's no microchip. It's a piece of plastic." And I'm like, "No, there's a little chip in there." And she's like, "Okay, so what? What can they do with that?" And I'm like, "Well, it's a passive circuit that every time you pass little magnetic fields, little devices, it tags where you are, right? So you're just putting on a tracking device." And I was totally fucking with her entirely. And she ended up actually kind of thinking like, "Yeah, I think you're on something. There is some tracking in this real ID thing." And I ended up telling her like, "Hey, I'm totally fucking with you. I was just joking, and it was the point of no return." She's like, "No, this is."
Yeah, that's it. She's running with it now. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But also, it just shows you that it's so funny. Like, dude, the level of I sometimes I can't. Like, it's just like the level of absurdity of this. Also, Charlie's asking, what do we think? What do I think of about Grok's Annie Companion? What is that? Annie Companion AI. What is? Do you know what that is?
No, I haven't heard of it. But you know what I don't like about Grok? It's trained on Twitter, and Twitter is like 4chan, right?
It kind of became like a cesspool of craziness. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just so much white supremacy there.
I'm not experiencing that. I think it's more like, I don't know why your algorithm gives you that. I'm mostly surrounded by all like scientists and stuff, so I'm not sure where you get that. I don't know what it says about you, man. I'm not sure what it says about you. Today I tried something that I heard. What's his name? Tai Lopez. Yeah, Tai Lopez, the Ferrari guy.
The first grifter. Or do you think he was a grifter? I mean,
no, it's interesting. Here's the thing. I started obviously like everybody thinking there's a grifter, I'm not so sure anymore. I think he's very like in your face, but I think he's legit in terms like listen, you don't do business on a certain scale unless you don't understand a couple of things about business, right? There's no way. So he
Well,
definitely
his first video was like about reading books, right?
yeah, but that's the thing. But no. But I saw a whole thing about him. But like that, he knew how to tap. Like even though you think it's absurd, that is one of the most viral videos of all time. So who's the idiot, right? Like it's like he knows he knew what would capture the thing, and one of the things that he kind of leaned into is actually the slight, almost like a glazed vibe that he has. It almost makes him look slightly R word. Sorry, TikTok will literally tag us. But like he leaned into it. He made himself look a little bit more disheveled, which is a juxtaposition between the Ferrari, and now he's telling you about reading books, and you're like, who's this Yahoo telling me about reading books? But now you're getting worked up. You're watching the video, and you're sending to the next person, going, check this guy out. Look at this idiot. There you go. But you just shared his video. So it's like here's the thing, like that is one of the most viral videos of all time, and ultimately he was part of many trends that succeeded. He tried many that didn't succeed, he tried many that did succeed, and he was on top of many of them that did succeed. And I do know some people that pay him a fortune to like get advice. And I asked a friend of mine who did do one of his like little one-on-one. He says no, he has like legit advice, like in terms of business, like he really understands things. So it's like, okay, well,
no, that was a genius move. You're right. I think where I thought he was a grifter was when I found out that big house that he was flexing was like rented or something.
Yeah,
but you're totally right. He created this like viral marketing style that I still see today.
And now he's on to the next thing. So, anyways, today he was talking about how that thing that he recently was talking a lot about, where he asked ChatGPT to tell him things that he doesn't know about himself. And I tried it today. I haven't read results yet. It will be interesting to see. Basically, you ask ChatGPT to ask you 10 different questions that will reveal something about you that you didn't even know. And then you tell it, but ask me each question one by one. And then I just, towards the end, I asked it, like, okay, what do you think it means about me? I haven't read the results yet, but like, but that's an interesting one to try.
Yeah.
Just outed his. Wait, what did you say, bro? Just outed his tweet algo.
Well, yeah. I mean, so I don't know if you saw this, but a few weeks ago when Grok 4 was being deployed, there was like a bug where it called itself the Mecha H-Man, and it went on this like rant. Grok started ranting, but it was just because it was not tuned, or there's a bug in its tuning, but it was like trying to be an anti-woke. It was trying to be non-biased, and it ended up swinging the other way, but they fixed it, right? But it just shows you what kind of data is on X.
Mm-hmm. And ultimately, this is the thing that, again, we know this, but like I really want everybody to understand. It's a slightly adjacent point, but I think it's important that we all kind of hold it in view. There is nothing that ChatGPT can know that we don't know collectively. I'm going to repeat it. There's nothing that ChatGPT can know that we don't know collectively. Now, it's true that individually it knows more than you because it knows what all humans know, but ChatGPT does not know anything outside of what we know collectively. And that's a very important thing, because very often people answer the question as if it's kind of like a god. It's like, hey, tell me, whatever. No, these are just consolidations of all human knowledge, which is very impressive, but it cannot produce new information yet, or maybe ever. So that's an important thing. Like, you can use it as a guideline to expand your thought, but don't use it instead of your thought. I see a lot of people using it, like the kinds of things that people ask it. I'm like, you think it, you want it to think for you. That's exactly how you end up in a position where you think it's conscious.
Yeah, exactly. And because it knows how you think, it will respond in a way that matches your way of thinking. So it sounds really good to you, right? And so it is very deceiving in that way, because it tickles that intuition that you have where you're like, yes, that's it. I understand that perfectly. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Red Fox is saying, I remember Ty Lopez and some partners were buying brands that were going out of business, so he's quasi legit. Well, I mean, no, that's how you flip businesses. You take something that is dying, and then you manage to turn it around. And if you don't, you didn't lose much because you were buying it towards the end of its life. So that's actually that is a very legitimate business move.
Is PGF going on this weekend?
Oh, maybe, bro. I'm in so much in whatever's happening in my world that I wasn't really.
Gotcha.
I don't know. I can double check. I can let you know.
No, it's all good. I mean, I'll check their Instagram, but I remember there's something that was supposed to happen soon. It's on my radar.
Oh yeah, they there's a lot. Well, I don't know if I'm because I don't know what they already declared or not. But there's some big things that happened. Yeah. I don't know if you know, but Dana White kind of missed the mark there, and he called Zoltan's girl, and he was like, "Yo, way to go! Like I didn't see that one coming." And then they tried to do their own show, and they barely put any money into it. It's so bad. It's so bad. They try to do like their own Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu show. They're just leaning on the fact that they're the UFC, but first of all, it's done really badly, and also there's no way they're going to be competing with the model of what PGF is doing. Maybe they'll, but this is good because it brings more eyes to what that portion of the thing. But there's two big things that happen in PGF. One was announced that they officially had, because their aim. This is like a completely different company. PGF is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu league that friends of mine started. So then their goal is to make Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu like something you can watch on ESPN. The only way to do that is you have to create the kind of hype that will attract a more mainstream viewer. The only way to do that is if you have to make people care in some way where you attach the results of the matches to something that people personally either gain from or can connect to. And as you know, in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, usually kind of looks like a stalemate the whole time. So first of all, they amped up the action, but now they created teams. And the first official like big announcement, I don't know if they made the second one, but is that one of the teams were bought, like a soccer team, like one of the teams were bought, like it's owned by a company, and now it's their team. Is this
coconut water company?
No. It's something rejuvenation. It's like it's a stem cell company, and they bought one, so they own a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu team in the PGF. Which means that, well, first of all, it's like, very lucrative in terms of taxes and all that stuff. But also it is like a big deal to own a sports team, right? And if you take this model and now you expand it, I mean, the sky's the limit. Like you can just, now people would care because they can bet on different teams. They can all that stuff. And all of a sudden it becomes more action packed. So they definitely did something very, very big, and it's about to take over big time.
Yeah, I like the product. I like the aesthetics of the product. I think it's very clean and very professional, but like also fancy. And it reminds me of Metamoris when Metamoris popped on the scene. But
Metamoris? What is Metamoris?
Metamoris was a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu competition run by one of the Gracies. But he wasn't a strong business guy, so it kind of didn't go nowhere. But I thought Eddie Bravo's rules kind of changed the game, where it made it super exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But anyways, we don't have to talk about
Charlie is saying, "What do you think, Danny Jones? What do you think Danny Jones is talking about when he says he saw a billion dicks in the core?" Well, what he's talking about is that he saw a billion dicks in the core. I have it all on I was sitting there with my phone when he said it. It was very funny. He was like, "Bro," it's also the way he speaks. It's like emphasizing that word is great. It's like, "Bro, I see a billion dicks," and both me and his friend we just died. I'm like, "Bro, I think that's your cap. This is the empty telling here. You gotta call it a night, bro. This is." Uh, it was very funny, and also the way that he kind of paused before he before he told Galloway about it. It's great. He also told Rizwan Burke about it. His face was great. Oh my god, so funny. So good. I wonder what actually he saw. I bet you he just saw the buckyballs, but he interpreted it as a billion dicks.
Well, he said before that the second time he tried it, he saw a billion gears.
No, the first time. The first time.
The first time?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess at some point you guys kept reaching. Like, I remember at one point you're like, "Sorry guys, I gotta drive at midnight to go see Danny," and I think that was one of the times you saw it, right?
That is, yeah. No, so that was the second time that he tried and he saw it. He saw the code for the first time, yeah. Which was a huge success because now he can talk about it. But it's funny because he chooses to talk about the dicks and not the code. It's great. I mean, this simulation is something.
His Indian friend tried it and saw it in Sanskrit.
Yes, yeah, saw that too.
And then
I mean, again, my whole thing is that I'm saying we're looking at something real. I don't care what you interpret the language as. It's none of these things. It's not Sanskrit. It's not Japanese. It's not Hebrew. It's some other form of some kind of a thing. I don't even know if it's language. I have no idea. We need something to truly record it. Like, otherwise, there's no way. Babe, what time are we supposed to leave to take the pups? Now?
Just before it gets dark or something.
What time they close the thing? 9. No, okay. All right. So probably get a few more minutes. No, we'll jump. Okay. They take the pups. Like flash loans. I can't do it. Too many more. Wait, what? Hold on. I'm missing something about this conversation. I just want Anne to tell me what stocks to invest to make money. Yeah, good luck with that. Wait, 04? 04 was released? Nico, 04 was released?
I didn't know that. I know they just released Agents.
Oh, they have okay. Yeah, they have 04 mini.
Oh, okay. They're releasing ChatGPT 5 in August. I saw like a little leak article that.
So what is? I don't understand. So all the ones with the number first, they're less advanced, right? With the one with the O first is more advanced, right?
Yeah, I think it's like built around like more reasoning than it is like on the number of tokens.
Got it.
But yeah. So the higher the number, though, the more tokens the net is trained on. So
yeah, but 03 is better than 40.
That's what people say it is for like reasoning. But
I'm asking everything on 03. I don't care.
To be honest, dude, there's so many products that they've made so many variations of products that I don't even know which ones to use for what. Like it's hard for me to even tell the difference sometimes too.
Yeah, no, I can definitely tell the difference between the 03s. I'm only using 03s for basically everything. I didn't know that it's like that separates in that way. Then I love the way you phrased the question, Charlie. What do you think Danny Jones is talking about? Exactly what he said. He's a very clear communicator. Time through the parallel universe. Different models for different things. All right, I did not know that. I will ask my ChatGPT the difference. Thank you, Terry. Furman keeps saying travel through the parallel universes. What is this referring to? Where you can see the code, just watch my videos about the experiment, William, and you'll be able to know. Phone call, evil icon. Oh. All right. So I think I'll jump off just to take the pup so we have enough time. Brother, as always, thank you so much for coming. Please send me the video that you're talking about. I can't wait. Please text me now because I'm really excited to know what is it that you think that is going to offend me. Yeah, man. All right. Everybody follow Nico, our beautiful friend Nico, NIKOMACKAY on TikTok, NIKOMACKAY on TikTok. If you want to follow me across platforms, you'll be Danny Goller on Instagram and TikTok. You'll be Goller Danny, swap them on X. It'll be LaserX83 on Twitch, and Dango Thoughts on YouTube, DANGO Thoughts on YouTube. Come join the membership program because on Sunday we have weekly lives for members only, in which we dive much deeper into all kinds of topics. You can also join from the second tier and up. A couple of people joined in the last few days. That's wonderful. I saw the emails. I'm going to send you the Zoom link. If you join from the second tier and up on the membership program, make sure you email me on the email listed there so I can send you a link to our Zoom calls, which one is coming up, I think, on Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm going to send it today. And those are wonderful because it's not a lot of people, so it's a pretty private conversation. We get to actually exchange ideas back and forth, and you guys can get to express yourselves and tell me all kinds of fun things. You can visit our website, codeofreality.com. That has our merch, lasers, and all that protocols and everything else, codeofreality.com. Come join our Discord community. You can find the links to it in the link tree in the description of TikTok and also on YouTube on the main page. And what else? If you still want to contribute to the film, you're welcome to do so. You can find the trailer for the film called The Discovery on my YouTube channel, Dango Thoughts. Go find the trailer, and under the trailer in the description, you can find a GoFundMe page. You can still contribute. If you contribute above $1,000, you will get a first world preview premiere ever. You will be the first person on the planet with other individuals who did the same to see the film. I think that's pretty cool. Beyond that, thank you, Terry. Appreciate you. I want to encourage anybody who has the capability to donate $1 to the person of need that I'm identifying every month. I'm going to identify 1 or 2 or 3 people that we can slowly help to get through the month. Currently, we're still contributing. I think it will be one of the last times we should contribute because we actually raised a good amount of money for Casey, who's surviving on very little. If we donate $1, all the people that come here every day, every few days, even if the rotation of people, like different people donate $1 at different days, this can actually give you a good opportunity to donate to someone who can really use that dollar for either food or shelter, and it will go directly to them. 100% of the funds, I'm not keeping any of the funds, it goes directly to Casey right away, and then we'll swap. We'll go to different individuals. This way, we can have a sustainable system that at least helps a few individuals throughout the month, and then eventually we'll expand, not in terms of how much people have to contribute, but there's going to be more people, and we're going to figure out how to aggregate these funds and attention to help more and more individuals. So if you have the capability and it doesn't hurt your pocket whatsoever, you can donate here on YouTube, and I will make sure that these funds find the person of need immediately. I send it to them that day. So if you have the capability, please do. If not, that's okay, and I will I don't know what I wanted to say there, but anyways, I want to acknowledge our incredible moderators. Guru, thank you so much, brother, for always being so much on top of it. Jessica and Ebony and Chris, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for our incredible guests, Nico McKay. Thank you so much for all community members, Evil Icon, all the old ones, Terry, all the new ones, Chris. What are you saying there? Furman, how are you? I didn't say it sounds ridiculous. It was just plucked out of context. All right. I want to appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for always being a part of this community, growing community, and always asking questions, engaging, and making this fun. And I will see you tomorrow. I think I will. In any case, have a good night. Have a wonderful weekend. Peace and love. Ciao, everyone. Bye, guys.